Good afternoon, viewers. This is Bhavna Vijayan for Redspot News. Headlines. US House votes to impeach Trump for abuse of power and obstruction. Trump to stand trial in Senate. India-US 2+2 dialogues were held at Washington, stressing that the future of Afghanistan matters to both countries. 38th meeting of GST Council held. Decision to levy 28% tax on lotteries was made through voting. 21 states voted in favor of the proposal. News in detail. US President Donald Trump has been impeached by the House of Representatives on Wednesday. He has been accused for obstruction of Congress and abuse of power related to his dealing with Ukraine. Trump is the third president in US history to be impeached by the full House. The 45th US President Donald Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives on Wednesday. He is the third US President to be impeached in the history of America. By a vote of 230 to 197, he has been impeached on charges of abuse of power and by a vote of 229 to 198 on obstructing Congress investigation. After impeachment, he still remains in office. Now the Senate will determine what happens next. Senators must take a public vote and should get 2/3 to show their majority in order to convict Donald Trump. 53 Republican senators should join the Democrats to show their majority. The likelihood of Senate convicting Trump is low as the Republicans hold a majority in the House. During the impeachment process, the House Republicans stood in unity that none of them voted for impeachment, so it is likely for him to get exonerated. The other two presidents to be impeached by the House are Bill Clinton and Andrew Johnson. News Desk, Redspot News. The US and India on Wednesday discussed a range of strategic and security issues, including the use of terrorism as statecraft. The two sides signed an industrial security agreement that will allow the transfer of defense technology.
The 2+2 dialogue was held at the Foggy Bottom headquarters of the State Department. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, along with Defense Secretary Mark Esper, hosted their Indian counterparts, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, for the highest level dialogue between the two countries. Counter-terrorism efforts discussed during the meeting, including dangers of cross-border terrorism. The two sides signed an industrial security agreement that will allow the transfer of defense technology. The first 2+2 dialogue was held in New Delhi in September last year, after the mechanism was approved by Modi and Trump. News Desk, Redspot News.
The Goods and Services Tax Council on Wednesday decided to impose GST at the rate of 28% for lotteries in the states and the private sector. The GST Council have made this decision through voting for the first time.
GST Council has to break the tradition of consensus for the first time and vote for a decision. In the 38th meeting of the GST Council, it was decided that uniform rate of 28% tax should be imposed on lotteries across the country. As per the information given by the sources, Kerala Finance Minister Thomas Isaac did not agree with this proposal and demanded that voting be done. During the voting, 21 states voted in favor of the single rate of 28% on lotteries and 7 voted in opposition. Revenue Secretary Ajay Bhushan Pandey said that they will implement this from March 2020. Chaired by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, the GST Council meeting was attended by Minister of State for Finance and Corporate Affairs Anurag Thakur and Finance Minister of States and Union Territories. Earlier, any differences between the centre and state on GST were resolved with consensus and voting option was never adopted. However, this particular incident shows that there is an increasing conflict between the centre and states over the implementation of GST and declining revenue. News Desk, Redspot News.
Headlines once again. US House votes to impeach Trump for abuse of power and obstruction. Trump to stand trial in Senate. India-US 2+2 dialogues were held at Washington, stressing that the future of Afghanistan matters to both countries. 38th meeting of GST Council held. Decision to levy 28% tax on lotteries was made through voting. 21 states voted in favor of the proposal. With that, it's a wrap from me on this edition of Redspot News. Thanks for watching.
You are watching Redspot News.